Welcome back to the Direct Selling Accelerator podcast. My name is Sam Hind, and today I'm going to be talking to you all about security. We have had so many people in the last few weeks and months, and even the last 12 months, contacting us saying, we've lost our Facebook page. I've had my Facebook page hacked. I know a friend who's lost her Facebook page. Our business page has disappeared. My personal profile has disappeared. My group, I no longer have access to. What is going on? Now, the thing is that when this happens to you, and I'd like you to consider this for a little moment, what if this happened to you? Because when this does happen to you, this affects not only your personal life, but your entire business in turn. The thing is that we have got so many pictures on our Facebook page, so many messages, so many friends attached to our page that if we were to lose it, for some of us, it would be such an emotional experience. And the thing is, it is so preventable. So today I want to talk to you about the steps you can take to lock down your pages, lock down your profiles, make sure that you are 100% as secure as you can be so that if and when someone is hacking or a page gets lost, it's not yours. So the great thing is that this episode comes with a downloadable cheat sheet, a little tick box cheat sheet that shows you the links of where to go to do all of the things I'm going to talk to you about today. So let's dive on in and get into the meaty stuff and show you how you can protect your profile page and groups. So let's dive on in and have a little bit of a look here. The first thing I want to do is talk you through locking down and securing your personal profile. If someone gets access to your personal profile, that in turn gives them access to everything. It gives them access to your business page, your group, and even your Facebook ad account. Now, first of all, we want to ensure that our page itself is very unlikely to or impossible to hack. But then we want to also have a little bit of a look at how do we ensure that no matter what, Facebook is not going to come for our page because we're not breaching any rules as well. And that's the other thing we've got to be careful of. There's two things at play here. Number one is access to your page by another human being or another computer. The second thing is Facebook saying, nah, you are breaching our rules. We're going to just close your page right here, right now. Now, first of all, we're going to start off by settings for hackers. So let's have a little bit of a look here. And again, everything I'm going through right now is located on this checklist cheat sheet that we're going to put in the show notes. So you can go there, download that, you can save it to your computer. And I recommend going in once every 3, maximum once every 6 months and going back through this cheat sheet checklist and just making sure that all of these things have been checked and updated. And you'll probably find that after you've done it the first time, it's pretty quick and easy to do in the next time that you do it. So the first thing is when you jump into your personal profile up the top right-hand corner, you'll see a little drop-down arrow there. If you drop that arrow down or you find your way to the settings of your page, you'll notice that there is a quick security checklist that Facebook prompts you to do when you go into your settings. So the first thing I encourage you to do is take that process. Now, I'm going to go deeper than this, but this is a great start. Now, in amongst this process that Facebook takes you through, your little security checklist, it's going to prompt you to have a look at who can see your information, and it's going to also prompt you to check and update your passwords, etc. So the first thing you're going to talk about is who can see your information. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people don't think through. So I'm just going to put some things out there on the table. This is Mum Sam talking now, personal Sam talking, not business Sam. I've seen a lot of people open up their personal profiles to be public in order to get more followers, etc., to their page. Now, I just want to start off by saying that yes, your personal profile is a fantastic way to grow your business in some aspects. However, I am not a fan of opening my personal profile up for the world to view, and here's why. If I put anything on that profile relating to my kids, relating to my home, relating to my holidays, any personal information, sometimes we don't want to have to think through, what if the world could see this? We know that the people that generally see our Facebook profile information are friends, family, and connections. Now, I have seen instances, and I don't want to put the fear into people right now, but this is what this episode is all about, is security. So it's kind of what we're thinking about. But I have seen instances where people have done things like, post a picture of their brand new home. So it's enough information that someone that really wanted to might be able to work out where that was. And then they go and post when they're away on holiday. Again, giving information about where you live and the fact that you're not actually at home. Now, I think most of us would probably think through this process, but I just want to put it out there. These are the sorts of things that if your page is made available for public viewing, that you really want to consider. Do you want everyone knowing this information? It also means that if you do put pictures of your kids up, you've got to be really mindful of what goes out there. And you know what? I would prefer that if I'm going to put my kids out there, I can be super mindful about the pictures I might put on my business page, but anything that is, more about our behind the scenes, the more personal stuff, that can go on my personal profile. And I know it's logged down to my family and friends. I know who can see it. So look, this is a personal decision for you. For me, I would rather my personal profile not be made public. Here's the other thing that I know I've seen people doing, and this is okay if this is the way you want to go about it, but it does breach Facebook's rules. If you want to have a personal profile that is open to the public, I've seen people set up separate ones. So they've got one that is for the purpose of public, one that is for personal connections. I can't recommend that because it does breach Facebook's rules. So you know what? Again, for me, I'm just going to come back to how I would do this. I would make sure that my personal profile was locked down so that I could control exactly who sees what, where, and when. Now, the great flip side to this is that you can have your business page, and your business page will be public. So you can use that in a slightly more open way and control a little bit more about what goes on there that you want the world to see. And the same with your groups as well. So just coming back to your personal profile, the first thing I would check is who can see your information. Now, that way you're making a conscious decision that it's everybody or it's only your friends and connections. And you will have an option there as well for the friends of your friends and connections. So that is a personal choice, totally up to you what you decide, but at least you're making it consciously and it's not accidental that you are open to the public or whatever that might be. So first thing that you'll get to do is check who can see your information. The second thing that you'll need to do is go in and check your password. Now, my recommendation here is that you change it every 3 months, because what can happen, and I know, your kids might get your password, your partner, your husband, whatever. It might be the same password you use for other things. Facebook is one of those things that we tend to forget about because it automatically logs into everything, all of the devices that we use. And so what I find can happen is that danger zone, we tend to get a bit complacent with the security of it. So good thing to do every now and again is go in, change your password, just give it a little update and log yourself out of all of your other devices. I'll talk about that in a moment. And then what this means is that if anybody was accidentally logged in, you're just getting a fresh start. You're making sure that you are on top of it all every 3 months. Remembering that if anyone gets access to that personal profile of yours, they've also got access to your business pages, your groups. And if you are an admin of any other business page that belongs to somebody else, that is also up for grabs. So for the purpose of security, I would also encourage you, if you've got a business page that somebody is an admin of, that you have invited in, make sure that they are updating their settings every now and again as well, because your business page will be at the mercy of your weakest link. So if you've got somebody who isn't updating their updating their settings on their personal profile, I would get them to do that as well to make sure that your page is as protected as it can be. Okay. The next thing I encourage you to do as you go through this process, and in this downloadable worksheet that we've got for you guys with this episode, we've actually got a little screenshot that shows you where to go for this next step. So the next thing I would encourage you to do is ask Facebook to notify you when someone logs into your account from a new device. And you can actually select how Facebook should notify you. It will either be by Facebook, where it sends you a little notification. It will be by Messenger, so it'll send you a message saying, hey, someone's just tried to log into your account. Is this you or not? Or an email. And you can have all three of those turned on if you want to. So go with whatever works for you, but I highly recommend that you've got that ticked somewhere in there. So ask Facebook to notify you when someone logs into your account from a new new device is my advice. So make sure that you've got that one set up. The next one that I also highly recommend that you set up is two-factor authentication. This is basically going to mean that if anyone logs in to your Facebook account, you'll need to use an external app. It usually uses the app Authy. It may now give you an option for another one as well, but the one I use is Authy. It's really easy to use. It's free. And basically what will happen is Facebook will say, we need a code. It will give you a couple of different options, I think, to get this code. So this is the way that I do it. I will get a code from Authy. I then have to input that code in order to successfully log in from a new device. This means if anyone's trying to log into your account, it will ask them for a code, and unless they are on your phone, on your mobile device with that separate app, they will not be able to get the correct code that is linked to your Facebook account. It's a really great little security setting, and it really does lock down from hackers getting in. Highly recommend that you set that one up. Again, we've got a little screenshot, and we've also got the click here, 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 and here instructions in this download. So you can't go wrong. It's really easy for you to find where you've got to go for that. Now, the next step I encourage you to take is one that, again, I do every 3 months when I change my password, and I do definitely recommend you do this because I think we tend to forget how many devices we've got logged into. Now, here's the deal. If you log into your Facebook account from someone else's phone, a computer somewhere, a tablet, anything that doesn't belong to you, there is a little option which is very easy to accidentally leave ticked that says, remember this login on this device. Now, and I can tell you right now that several people that have logged into Facebook, my husband and daughter included, and we'll see if they listen to this episode, have actually left that box that box ticked on my computer, which means that even though I'm currently logged into my Facebook page, if I want to, I can switch to their accounts and be logged into their account immediately without entering their password or login information, because I've remained logged in there for all of this time, even though I'm currently using and logged into my profile. So the best thing that they can do, the best thing that anyone can do is every 3 months, go into your settings, go to settings and privacy, click on privacy shortcuts. Again, we've got a screen grab in the download for you guys to help you along with this, but go to privacy shortcuts and opt to log out of all devices. This means that anything you're logged into anywhere in the world will automatically be logged out, and you can then re-log into whatever device you want to be active on. So you log out of everything and then you log back in using your mobile phone and use your little two-factor authentication app, and you're away. That way you can make sure that you haven't accidentally got into something, the kids haven't got your account, all that sort of stuff. So again, I suggest doing this every 3 months, 6 months max, but just go in and do a little clean out, little refresh, and that will go miles towards protecting you from hacking, which again, we're seeing a lot of right now. Now, I would also suggest that you check the email address that you have got registered. Now, here's where I've seen this one go terribly wrong. Because many of us set up our Facebook account many years ago, and for some of us it was 10, 12 years ago when Facebook was sort of the first thing. I don't even know how long ago that was now. I'm going to say 15 years. It was a long time ago. So Facebook set up and we all went in and went, hey, let's set up a Facebook account. Now, for lots of us, we've had no reason to update or even check what email address is registered against our account because we don't use that to log in. Here's the problem. If you had to recover your account, if you had to change your password for whatever reason, that is the email that your recovery password will be sent to and that will be used for all Facebook communication. So if you have to reach out to Facebook help and support, they will be corresponding with you using that email address. Now, I've seen this go really wrong when somebody has had their Facebook page logged into by somebody that's not them. Password may be changed or they need to reset their password because they've forgotten what it is. And suddenly they can't reset it because they can't access that email anymore because the email no longer exists. So that's really easily fixed if you go in to your privacy shortcuts, account security, and update your personal information. Make sure it is all current because, again, I've seen this happen lots of times where people have got nowhere to go. And let me tell you, there is no fail safe. There is no Facebook coming to your rescue. We've spent in the last couple of weeks, I reckon a good 10 hours on Facebook support chats to try and help people recover accounts that have either been hacked, lost, or shut down because they've breached rules. Just in the last 2 weeks, 10 hours helping people with this. And only one of those 3 accounts have we been able to get anywhere with helping them recover. And it's not a finished done deal yet. So guys, don't let yourself get into this situation. It is really painful. It's really emotional. And we don't want to see you go through it. So go in, update your personal information as well. Now, here's another thing that you can do that I know a lot of people are unaware of. And again, I highly recommend that you do it because if something goes wrong, this is going to help you to make sure that you've ticked your boxes and you're good to go if for whatever reason, your page cannot be recovered. There is actually a spot in Facebook settings. So if you go to privacy shortcuts, your Facebook information and access your information, you can actually download a copy of all of your information and you can tick the boxes of what you want, whether you want to download every image you've ever uploaded to Facebook. You can also select ranges of time so you don't have to do all of them. You can download all of your contacts. You can download all of your messages. You can download all of your groups and pages that you follow. Basically, you've got a ton of different options of things you can download so you can never lose that information. I definitely recommend you get in and do that because the last thing you want is to lose all of your Facebook images. And again, I think you'd be shocked at how many images you've got up there that you've accumulated over the years that are not stored anywhere else. So again, I highly recommend that you get in and do that. Just download it as a zip file on your computer, have it floating around there. You don't need to have easy, quick access to it. It doesn't all need to be saved in big files on your computer. Pop it somewhere out of the way so that you know, worst case scenario, you haven't lost all of your information. All right, when it comes to personal profiles, I just want to touch on one last thing. Now, I don't want to get all morbid on you guys, but this one here is one that, again, I think a lot of us overlook, but I have seen this become, again, quite an emotional thing for a lot of people when it's necessary. And it's one of those things that this one is not so much about you. This is about those that you love. I highly recommend that you go in and check your memorialization settings, which are under your general settings. Now, this basically means if anything happens to you, if you are unable to use your Facebook and people are looking at your Facebook feed and a family member wants to be able to jump in and either update that page, pause it, shut it down, turn it into a memorial page, which can be done as well. Somebody needs to have access to that account to do it. So what you can do is you can nominate one person under your memorialization settings that is able to access your account should something happen to you. Now, again, remember that person may want to be able to access your images. They may want to be able to access the feed because, again, people might be unaware if something's happened to you. It just allows your family and friends to have control. And again, I don't think we think very much about just how much our Facebook feed might mean with many years of your life going into that feed. So again, I recommend setting up your memorialization settings. It takes 2 seconds to do it. And it's just one of those things that it's then out of sight, out of mind. You don't have to think about it again. Definitely recommend that you get in and do that. Now, I just want to come to business pages and groups before we finish up. Business pages are one of those things that, again, you've got to be very careful about because these are an asset to your business, as are your groups. And this is where I see most of the problem ensue. So what often happens is that, again, people don't lock down their personal profiles, which gives potential hackers access to your pages and your groups, which means that your business asset is now liable and it is available for corruption from anybody that wants to get in. I've seen this happen, but there's a flip side to this as well. Again, if you have made somebody an admin of your business page or your group that you do not fully trust, this person has got the ability to boot you out of your own group or your own page. Now, here's the thing that you need to be very aware of. Facebook will side with whoever has got the admin rights of that page. If you are booted out of that page and you contact Facebook and say, this page is rightfully mine or this group was mine because I started it, their attitude is you're no longer an admin, somebody else is, you need to take it up with them. Now, if you've got a staff member or a team member or somebody who's got access to that page and you are not 100% certain that you trust that that person, no matter what, will not do the wrong thing, then I would move them to partial access. So what's happening right now is Facebook is making a little bit of a change. As you've heard me talk about before, they're moving business pages across to the new Facebook Pages experience. As part of that, admin or page roles are changing. So they're going from being admin, editor, advertiser, etc., to full access or partial access. So these will be from when that change happens for your pages, and it's happening for everyone at different rates right now. These will be the only two settings you'll have an option to have. So my recommendation there is jump in every 3 months, make this part of your little checklist that you go through and update your page roles. So make sure that anybody who you do not trust to have access to your bank accounts or your money or, the keys to your business doors, move them to partial access. This means that they won't have the ability to change settings on your page. They will only have the ability to post, contribute, comment, etc. on your page itself. So just something to be aware of, and it's the same with your groups. Make sure that you've got someone set correctly in your roles area of your group so that, again, they can't boot you out. We had a case that was maybe only about a month ago. I had someone contact me that said she'd had someone come to her and said, hey, would you like to collaborate with our groups? We'll merge the two groups together and we'll run them together. And this person agreed. They thought that was fantastic because they could see the benefit for them. But as soon as they allowed this person in as an admin on their group page, they got booted out. They got blocked on Facebook by this person and they lost all access and they didn't have a single leg to stand on. Now, scary stories, I know, and I know that we don't want to be thinking about worst case scenarios, but we do have to when it comes to considering how to protect our assets. I do think it's something we need to be a little bit mindful of because we don't want to be the person that made the silly decision when we could have quite easily protected ourselves and our pages, profiles, and groups. So go in and check who has got access to your page. And if you've got anyone who's got access to your page, also, I encourage you to encourage them to update their personal profile settings. Make sure that they're locked down as well so that your business page or group is also simultaneously protected. Okay, last but most definitely not least, I just want to draw your attention to the Facebook policies and rules of use. The greatest thing that you can do to protect your business page and group and even personal profile from being flagged, blocked, shut down is making sure that you are following Facebook's rules. This is probably the greatest source of problem that we see at the moment. And this is because people are in breach of Facebook's rules without even realizing it until the moment that they realize their page no longer exists. Again, we see this happening far more frequently than I would like to, and I would like to make sure that not a single one of our podcast listeners is experiencing this for themselves. So the best thing you can do is every 6 months, go in and do a little refresher, glance your eyes across the Facebook rules and policies. They're in layman's terms, they're easy to read, absorb, and understand. And here's the thing. Facebook's attitude is that if you sign up to Facebook, you agree to follow their policies and rules of use. And if you're not doing it, their attitude is as simple as you're out. They simply go in and delete. It's as easy as that. It isn't policed generally by humans. It usually goes through a process of being monitored by bots. Occasionally, it will then go through to a human if it's not clear cut. And you'll find that your page will either be flagged. So you'll notice that all of your content on your page disappears and you'll only see that the page exists but not be able to do a thing with it. Or your page will simply not exist. It will disappear entirely. Now, there are instances where we've seen them recovered, but it's hit and miss, guys. So I'm just going to put it out there. Make sure you're following Facebook's policies and rules of use. It can be as simple as running a competition the wrong way. It might be using your personal profile for business use. Again, all of these things, if done incorrectly, are breaching Facebook's rules and put your pages up and make them liable. So be very cautious with that. Listen as well to our podcast. If we're giving you little updates, we will keep you on top of the rules of use. Again, our accelerator members, we will also do tutorials in there every time Facebook makes a little update to those sorts of things. Something to be aware of is that the direct selling or MLM industry is one that is currently under fire when it comes to social media. And so as a result, you've got to keep on top of Facebook's and Instagram's policies and rules of use, because at the moment there are some changes that we're seeing coming through. So best to know what they are so that you are not putting your pages into the firing line. We're going to pop links to the policies and rules of use for personal profiles and to business pages on the bottom of that cheat sheet for all of you. So you can go there, check them out, have a little bit of a read. I would encourage you to point yourself in the direction of the competition area, also with the business pages, how you can use them, and also there is a spot there for MLM, which is direct selling. So MLM is what Facebook calls it. Go in there and have a little read of their rules. Make sure that you're not in breach of those as well. So guys, that is our little run through for security and privacy updates to make sure that you're across all of that. Probably not the most fun of episodes, but I think probably one of the most necessary episodes that we've had to do in recent times. So I just want to make sure that all of our listeners are really protected. Download that worksheet, guys. Do the little checkbox. Go through. We've got all the instructions on where everything is in there so that you can't get yourself lost. Get in there, check that out, save it to your computer so that you've got it again in 3 months' time. Pop it in your calendar so you don't forget. And I hope that this has been really helpful for you. I hope it's given you a few things to think about and inspired you to get in there and do those checks. But for now, I want to say have a really amazing week. Look after yourself, and we look forward to seeing you again on next week's episode. But thank you so much for joining me today. Get in there and do those security checks, and we'll see you again next time. Bye for now.